years, I faked it. I faked being happy. The smile was fake. I wanted to be around everybody. I wanted to do everything everyone else was doing. But I didn't want to be a burden to them. I didn't want them to feel sorry for me. I portrayed myself as, just this big guy, and that, my size was, just strength. When in turn, it really wasn't. It was just being to the point where I was dangerously, morbidly obese. I always thought I was around 500 pounds. That's because there was never a scale at my primary care doctor to go high enough. So I thought it was around 500, and then when I got on the scale there, it went past 500, it went past 600, and when I saw it top out at 651.8, I lost it. Excuse me, it hurt realizing that I was that size, And then when he told me, about my life expectancy, shortly before that, my sister and brother-in-law announced that they're going to be having a baby. So now I'm like, I'm gonna be an uncle. I need to be around for a long time. And it was almost seeming as if living the way that I was doing it, and if I continue to do so, seemed selfish on my part, because I wasn't taking into consideration everybody else around me that cared about me. So I knew that when I left my appointment that day, I walked out of the office and sat down on the curb, and I broke. I lost it immediately. I sat there and cried, and realized that I needed to do something immediately. And that's when that day I changed everything that I was doing completely. Ended up making the necessary changes I need to. I had the operation in December of 2016, and got down to about 300 pounds, which they considered was a success. That's where I should be right now, is around 315 pounds. And really wasn't happy with where I was at still, so I knew that the magic, quote unquote, of the surgery kind of wore off. So now it was time for me to start working. Started increasing my levels of activity, changing my diet, working with dietitians, and just kept coming off. According to the BMI chart, at my height, I'm supposed to be 185, so that number was stuck in my head. Around the 200-pound mark is when I started coming here to Pure NRGY. Since I started here about a year ago, dropped another 30 pounds, and finally hit my 185 mark, which I've been at for a good 6 months now.
I had heard about Carlos, knew about his journey a little bit, didn't know him personally, but I had seen him around the community here and there. He came in, and he came around the corner. I automatically went up to greet him. I gave him a hug, I talked to him. After a few minutes of talking to Carlos, I felt like I had known Carlos my entire life. Like we had been friends and we had been working on this fitness journey for years.
Everything that Carlos has been through, and that first walk into the doctor's office at 600 plus pounds, Carlos was handed some pretty bad news, life-altering news. And one of those issues was, Carlos, if you don't change your life right now, you're not going to live much longer. And even scarier than that for most people to hear is he actually was given a timeline. That right there can blow many, many people away, where they'll just go into an inverted process and they don't want to be around anybody, and essentially just say, okay, I give up, I'm going to die. And Carlos didn't do that, right? Obviously, it fueled him.
It's a lot easier to give up than to do the work. It is, and the mindset, it has to be there. And I knew that I just needed to. I didn't want to die. I mean, that's really what it came down to, is I don't want to die. To get your brain and body to cooperate is the hardest thing ever. The physical part of it wasn't that bad. The pain part of it wasn't that bad. But mentally, it was the toughest.
Everybody has their own battle to fight, and that's one thing that I think Rwaida and I have always understood and really comprehended, is that, you know, everybody's fighting a hard battle, so be kind.
With this new family fitness type of atmosphere, these people feel like, you know what, they come to us and they're like, you know what, I fit in. I don't care if I'm 200 pounds or if I'm 120. If I'm 75 or I'm 18 years old, I fit in. I'm part of Pure NRGY Fitness family.
Right.
They make me feel welcome. They make me feel like I belong. And it's just not Roy and I that do that. It's the entire group.
Nothing is stronger than family ties. You cannot break the wall of family. And it just keeps growing. When you walk through that door, you belong. We want you here. We want to help you. Whatever your goal is, that's our goal. And you fit in. It's pure of heart that we try to project forward to people and say, you can do this. We're going to get you to where you need to be. I don't care what it takes. And that's Pure NRGY.
You walk in and there's no, hey, how are you, hi. You're hugging people. I mean, you're giving 7, 8, 9, 10 hugs out to these people just because that's the environment that it is, you know, and that's what you become comfortable with, and it's a very welcoming, very secure place, I would say, you know, to be. And regardless of what's going on in your life, you know, inside or outside the gym, you know that you can come here and everybody's going to just be on your side, you know, and back you, and that's what they preach. That's, you know, all the time, and that's why we keep coming here. And it's just the tightness of the community, you know, within what we have here. It's usually like the Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, Flint, Tri-City area that we have. That it's just the community, and that's what really keeps you wanting to do them, you know.
Carlos says that we inspired him and kept him going, but I had to remind him that no, Carlos, you inspired us, and you keep inspiring us, and you're the reason why we do what we do, and you make us want to be the best at what we do every day. And he gives us pure energy.
He sure does.